Hey everyone, excited utterance here. Well, do we have a knife and maybe some gloves? Perhaps even a burn pit, a house? Okay, some images have come along, and I have to give credit to four pitbulls across America for this. I was put into the direction of a live stream that occurred a few days ago on Case X Case. And Four Pits, he sent some images to them to have a look at. Now, I am not here to speculate too much about what those images mean, but okay, the word on the street is that those images were submitted to law enforcement at the time they were shot, very close in time to the murders of Abby and Libby, and very close geographically to the crime scene. So, that said, they are pretty grainy. They're pretty hard to make out. So I'm here to help. That's what I'm here to do. I'm just going to make them a bit easier for us to look at, and that way some more meaningful discussion can take place. So let's get into it. Okay guys, here we are in Photoshop. You'll be getting used to this now. And this is one of the images supplied by Four Pits. And you'll recall it looks a bit squishy. Now, I think what's happened is this image has been placed down on a PDF file or something like that, or put into a Word document, and it's been squashed. Now, my thought is that it was probably shot full screen, and it was probably shot at 1920 by 1080 pixels or 16:9 format. So it may have been a little bit higher res than that, but that's not what we have to work with. So my first thing that I wanted to do was make it the right proportions, because you can see it's all squashed down. So I did that here. So you can see now that I've made a pretty good guess at what the dimensions of it would have been, and you can see that it's not all squashy anymore, but it's still pretty blurry. And the next thing that I did was I used an upsampling technique that is part of the latest Photoshop. So I have shown it in a previous video, in a previous stream. That uses what's called a neural filter to take the pixels and duplicate them using AI. So this is what I got when I did that. I'll just zoom it up. So now you can see that it wasn't a great image to start off with, but it's better than this, which was pretty nasty. Okay, so this is what we have. We have a knife. We have a knife. And what can I say about this image? All right, well, the knife itself appears to be a bit battered up. And so I've gone and had a bit of a look at the best way to get out some detail from here. And if I go and take out a lot of the shadows and just look at the very bright areas of it, you can see it's got a bit of a ding in it through here. It's also got a bit of a chunk taken out of it through here, I think. Now, people on the stream the other day did note the discoloration through this part of it. Some people were saying it may have been burnt. I'm not sure about that. I don't know enough about what happens with knives when you burn them. It could be rust. I don't know. But that's definitely a knife. I know that for sure. Now, some other things about this image. I'm not sure whether that is just a stick or if that's another tool. Tend to think it's just a stick. Yeah. And we have this piece of rubbish up here. I think, like, it looks like a can. But it's kind of plasticky rather than tin. So I'm not, like, maybe Americans, you guys will be able to recognize that. That looks foreign to me. And another piece of plasticky stuff through here. Some grass or moss coming in over here. Just rocks. And there seems to be some sort of metal spring thing going on down here, if you look at that. So a little bit of tools, machinery. So I'll make that as large as I can make it and just zoom around it for you so you can get a good look at it. Nothing really unusual about the image itself, but that's a knife. That's a knife. All right, next one. So gloves. The next image is of some gloves. So the original photo was this one, and we had the similar kind of problem going on in that it was squished. And so I just went and changed the dimensions of it and upscale dimensions. Yes, this one here. Okay, so that's fixed. So the dimensions are 16:9, which is the full size image you generally take on an iPhone or something like that. Okay, so this is the weirdest image to me of all the ones that 4Pits has come along with. The reason being that it was something that Michael said. He was looking at it and he goes, "Is there a phone underneath it?" And at first I was like, nah, dude, that's not a phone. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Anyway, I was like, no, what are you seeing that looks like a phone? I could not see anything that looks like a phone. But then, hang on, I'll just show you the upscaled version. There we go. All right. Then I started to wonder what this shape here was. Like, this started to really confuse me because it's like we've got this ghost phone thing going on. Like, you can't really mistake this shape, this line, and then this curve, and then this line, and then it kind of goes out into nowhere. Like, you can't really see where it goes, but it's got to go somewhere. This is all so blurry, even with the AI upscaling. It's really hard to get any more detail into this. So what I took the shadows, or not took the shadows away, I brightened the shadows, and there's nothing down there. There's not much going on. There's not much I can do because there's just nothing in here. See, like, there's just nothing. All I've got is like a line of pixels from here to here that continues that line from back there. So if you can see this line here, it continues there. But any kind of detail through here is really obscured. You might assume that this line here is part of whatever that object was, but it goes and continues up through here. So that's not part of it. So if there were an object like a phone, it's being masked off by the gloves. But I'm a bit confused about it being a phone because it's got no depth. It's got nothing to it. It's just this floating weird object, and then the gloves are just kind of straight, like they're right there underneath, like they float through it. So I had another thought about what it might be, and that is that, you know how you get those containers of gloves and you pull the gloves through the little receptacle? What if it was one of those holes that you pull the gloves through, and it's the top part of the container? So you're actually seeing a pair of gloves being pulled through the receptacle. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, maybe that's the outer part of it here is kind of like the top of a tissue box, but like a plastic part of it, like the top of a tissue box. Because we're seeing a lot of rubbish being thrown around in these photos. That's the only other thing I could think of it being. It's just so weird. But yeah, there's a pair of rubber gloves out there in the middle of the wilderness on some cinder blocks, just sitting there. Let's just think about that for a minute. Weird. Weird. There's nothing else really odd about this photo. I don't know what that thing is. You guys come up with your own theories on that one. That just looks like a stick that's broken off to me. Nothing much else jumps out at me. Let me know in the comments if you can see anything else going on. Okay, now the burn pile. All right, we have two images that are pretty similar of what is supposedly a burn pile. Now, both of these images are flipped over and they're both squashed. Now, neither of them are 16:9 format. They've both been cropped from what I can tell, because I've tried to make them 16:9, I've tried to make them 4:3, I've tried to make them all the standard formats and they don't work. So let's just say that when I finally got them to look like they weren't squashed in any way, they weren't any standard size. The thing I find most interesting about these images is that there is a house in the background. Yes, there's a house, and I would like someone to please identify this house. So I will take you to where I have upscaled these images. So image 1 is this one. And again, they're not great. They're not great. If 4Pits has them, or if they exist, there surely must be better versions of these images. I don't know if 4Pits, if you have them, because I mean, if they were shot on a camera phone, even back then in 2017, they should have been a bit better than this. But if this is all we've got, that's all we've got. Okay, so this is with the upscaling, with the Photoshop neural filters. So first, let's talk about what's in the foreground. I don't want to talk about the burn pile straight away. This stuff over here to the left, I think this is man-made. I don't think that's a stick. I think it's man-made because look at this circular area here. So it looks like machinery or something. See this thing here? So someone who lives out in the farms or something like that would probably be able to say what that is. I might be wrong, but it looks man-made to me. Okay. It's just, there's a lot of rubbish out there. It's not very tidy. So this is supposedly a burn pile. This thing here looks to me, and I might be wrong, never lived out in this area, but that looks to me like a catcher on a lawnmower. And that's just sitting in the middle of a pile of sticks. Why you'd have a burn pile that is right next to some trees is kind of beyond me, because if you set it on fire, it sets the trees on fire. But hey, I don't know. I don't know. I'm a simple city girl. What else is going on? This is not the best of the two photos, by the way. They're pretty much identical. They're pretty much identical. I'm going to look at the second one, actually. Yeah, see, this one's a bit sharper. This one's a fair bit better, actually. So let's look. Yeah, see, you can see this a lot better. You see this much better. In fact, this thing here may be part of some machinery too. Don't know. The thing I'm really interested in is this house. Whose house is that, guys? Whose house is that? I heard that Ron Logan's house is white. anyone who's ever actually seen his house would know for sure whether that's his house. So white, black roof, chimney, black window upstairs. Looks like it's got a side door, some sort of patio area, carport. It's pretty recognizable there. I don't see anything that indicates like a crime scene. I mean, unless there's something else I should be looking for. So I'll just zoom out, put it there so you guys can all see it as well as possible. By the way, I really don't want to be contributing to putting enhanced images or altered images out there on the internet. So happy to have discussions and like come on streams and things like that. But because I've made these alterations, I'd rather just keep them here in my Photoshop and not save them out. Just once people start making edits, then you've got edited versions and you've got your originals, and then you've got so many people going, oh, I wonder who edited it, etc. And I don't want to contribute to having lots of different versions getting around. But I'm really happy to show you my workings, what I've done. And yep, the entire purpose of this today has been so that everybody can get a better look at the photos that are being spoken about right now. So that's just my first take on these. Please, guys, put into the comments what you think. Again, thank you to 4Pits for the information. And yeah, I'll see you shortly.